Hi there, I hope you have a lovely day. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Sana. So today I have actually a video for you, a get ready with me. So because I thought I just filmed one very quickly, I've not done it for a long time and I thought why not do it now. So and I'm just going to use one eyeshadow palette only, and this is the Natasha Denona Camel palette, and it's a very easy one and done palette, and some other makeup stuff that I have here. So I will take my glass off, of course, but I'm kind of blind, so I will be looking in this way to the mirror. And yeah, let's get started, I would say. So I have applied already my skincare, and yeah, already in the morning, but I have a little bit of oil right now because I have oily skin, so but it's still okay to apply my makeup. We might have a little visitor from time to time because Dexter is here with me, my little cat, boy cat, and so and you might hear neighbors coming in and so on. I have the windows open, but there's not enough light, so that's why I have the ceiling light turned on, and also I have a little light here in front of me. So yeah, lighting situation in this bedroom of mine is not the best, I admit that, but yeah, it is what it is. Let's continue. So just what I do is just oops, yeah, you have everywhere cat hair. So I just take a Franken foundation that I have. This is a little bit of Colourpop, a little bit of Essence, and a little bit of Makeup Revolution's CC Skin Tint or something like that. And I just apply it. I just applied my primer. So, and if you want to apply very quickly, your foundation in really roughly, and you don't have enough time, just go ahead and use this kind of big brush. So foundation brush, they are called usually like that in sets. When you buy sets, for example, you will see there's always this kind of flat big foundation brush, and it's one of the most yeah, let's say fastest tools to apply really your foundation. If you don't want to fickle around for hours and hours, you just apply it with this tool and you're done. So I also apply foundation on my eyelids so that I don't yeah, I mean, you could also just leave that blank area blank of your eyelids and then just apply concealer or any eyeshadow primer base that you have, but I just do it like that. And yeah, I know the foundation is a bit light for me at this moment, but wait until I am done. So the next step is I just take my palette from my face palette that I'm currently panning, and I am just using it, and I'm just using a Sigma 3D HD precision brush. So it's like a brush like that, and I just go very roughly because I have a very big forehead. Everybody is different, so depending on the situation or on your own face, you might want to apply it very thickly or very thinly, the bronzer or contour, whatever. And I also use the same shade to kind of contour my cheek bones that are not existing because I have a round face or round oval face, as you can see, and I just do it like that. And what else do I do? Yeah, so that's for the face. I usually apply the face makeup first before I apply the eyeshadow. I was doing it a little bit different for a while, that now I'm doing this way. So yeah, and then I go ahead and take a little brush from, what is it here, from Essence. It's a highlighter brush, but I just use it as a kind of blush brush, and I apply the blush on top of the contour shade as well, so you can see. And I'm just brushing over this area, and I will reapply the brush depending on the situation again, because sometimes when I do the finishing powder it can happen that the blush disappears. So but this is it. You could now go ahead if you want. You use a highlighter. I mean, I can use it as well. So let me do this one. Yeah, I have this little brush. I am not a big fan of it, to be honest with you, because it's very, very flimsy. And if you really want to really have a really light dust of highlighter on your cheeks, you might go ahead. But you know, if you want to do the really streaky highlighter thingy, you might go ahead and use a different brush, a more stiffer brush, because you can see this is very, very flimsy. Yeah, so yeah, is it the best one? You know, a lot of people, I mean, of course, in the makeup community or beauty community, they were always, you know, showing this one, and a lot of brush sets have this kind of brushes. But in the end, you could also get away with using, let me see, what could you use as an example? I had one of these blush brushes, not blush brushes, but you could use, for example, this kind of, you know, eyeshadow brush. So just, you know, take more of this one and really apply it. Again, you know, if you know your face and you know where to apply the products, I would not worry so much about the certain brush, you know, in my opinion. Again, it's yeah, it's what I would do, you know. I don't mind because you will apply anyway a finishing powder. You might want to reapply after the finished powder your highlighter, because you say, oh yeah, it's not enough anymore, or it disappeared on my face whatsoever. So that's one thing. Now let's go ahead and apply eyeshadow. So I'm not going to show you the eyeshadow that I'm using now at this moment, because it's part of my what is it here, the Old Faithful, you know, and Better Together Project Pan blush eyeshadow palette. So I'm not going to show you the progress that I have done or not done, but I'm just going to apply, just to set the foundation, a really white or cream eyeshadow. So, and you can see this is how I look. And now I'm going ahead and apply one of these. So I have not, I mean, I just started to use these two, you know, matte brownish beige shades. So I'm just using first one of these. No, this is the other one, sorry. I'm just going to go ahead with this one. So again, just to, you know, give your eyelid a little bit of color. So you could just apply this one. And you see there's already a little bit of color, but if you want to go a little bit darker, you know, you could do a little bit more with the other shade, or just apply the other shade, you know, which one ever you want in your you know, crease. So okay, and then I go and apply this sparkly shade here on my eyelid. So I'm just using a flat brush like that, and there goes the leather chair, the fake leather chair. So, and I apply on my whole lid this sparkly bronzy shade. And I could use now the darkest shade to darken my outer V. So that's what I will do now. And let me take the other brush. Let's do this. No, not this one. Let's do this one again, but because it's the darker one, and I apply a little bit on my outer V. So if you want to give yourself a little bit of shape, you could actually do like this. And you see I have already, how can I say, give myself a little bit of a wing with the eyeshadow. So a little bit of a cat eye situation, if you like to describe it that way. And then the same to this side. and you don't use the brush like this, but you use it, you know, this way. And then you have a little bit of, you know, lengthening the eye in that sense. And then you just go and you just drag the darker shade just down. Of course I will blend the edges, but for now this is how I would do it. And then for the inner corner I would just take the lightest shade. That was a cat shaking the table. And so you see there's the inner corner applied. Okay, now I could go and use the same light color that I have applied, you know, to set the foundation, and I just use it to blend the edges so that it doesn't look too harsh. So you see, then I want to make actually stamp an eyeliner. So why do I stamp it? Because I have a lot of black eyeshadow, and you know, if I want to make use of them, I could just, you know, how can I say, I don't want to apply a black eye, smoky eye whatsoever, but I could use black, for example, to mimic a liquid eyeliner. So how do I do that? It's almost the same method that I applied the darker shade, you know, on the outer V, and I just look in the mirror straight like that, and I look. So for example, which, you know, line, how, okay, so how I have to go along the line of my eye. So I know I just need to apply it like this, and I have now my eyeliner. So I could go ahead and then just apply a little bit more on the lid, and with the eyeshadow, you know, because it's a powder, it's kind of, how to say, it's not that rigid or immediately, you know, self sticking to your eyelid, so to say. You could just, you know, blend it away if you wanted to. So this is one way. And you see, it's, don't underestimate, you know, this kind of brush. If you have it in your collection, for example, just use it, you know, to stamp. If you need more practice with eyeliner, if you know, it's just one easy step. So again, I need to be careful a little bit, because sometimes I do 1 millimeter too low, then it doesn't look even, or 1 millimeter too high. So and also my, you know, I know which eye is different, so every human being has different eyes, but of course eye shapes or eye sizes and so on. And I know, let's say this eye is bigger and than this eye, so I need to always be careful that I don't, how to say, yeah, don't go too low. So now I know here, you see, I messed it up already, but you could go ahead and then just clean it up with the Q-tip so that it still looks similar. Not the same. It has to be sisters, but not twins. So, and then I could go do the same thing, you know, apply. I just do it here by looking into the camera, and I apply a little bit of the black eyeshadow. Yeah, that's how I would do it now. You know, again, you could also use an eyebrow. I forgot the eyebrows actually, but good that I mentioned it now, because I forgot the eyebrows. So, but I will do that as well. So, good thing that I remembered suddenly to use an eyebrow pencil. let me see, where's my eyebrow pencil here? Ah, yeah, yeah. You could also use this little eyebrow pencil, you know, again, same method, because this one is a little bit, you know, how do you call this one? Cut off, slanted. You know, it's better to, yeah, just really to stamp it. So, okay, then let me do quickly my eyebrows. I forgot about those. And I just take the Anastasia Beverly Hills dark brown and I'm not creating a new new form or new shape for my eyebrows. I just fill in the front because there I have less and less hair, or I have some grays, you know, growing. So therefore I just, you know, use what I have. Now you could go ahead and also apply eyebrow, what is it, brow wax, etc., etc. If you have unruly, you know, eyebrows, or you want to give a certain kind of shape. But I think my eyebrows are still okay, shape-wise. So you know, I need to pluck some of them because they are growing, but you don't see them right now as long as I'm not too close to the camera, I think. So this is how my eyes look like. And I know this mess or this situation here has to be rectified. I know that. Just give me a second. So then for my brow bone highlight, I'm just going to use one shade out of my Old Faithful palette. Just apply it. Again. So then, now that's almost done. So, but I will just continue to apply now the finishing. You could go ahead and apply, of course, your concealer depending on the situation if you need to apply it. But for now, I don't mind. I don't think that I have really dark circles at this moment, so I will not apply anything. So take one of these kabuki brushes, or not powder brushes, you know, so, and then you could apply just neutral colors, so neutral found what is it, yeah, everywhere cat hair, sorry, just if you're sensitive about that, I cannot help you. And then you just go and buff it in, so it's not too obvious then that I applied contour shade or whatsoever, but it is setting at the same time because I'm buffing everything and so on, the foundation. So, and you could see now here the line. I also need to dye my roots, but you could see this is gone, but I know for a fact here is now. Again, the step that I did with the blush, you don't need to repeat it if your blush is still showing, depending on if you used cream blush or a really, really pigmented blush. But I could go ahead and I could reapply here a little bit of the blush again, because I like a blush on my cheeks. And I could go ahead again a little bit and just do it like that. So. Again, down to the neck. So again, I'm also necessary steps or not. Some people contour their nose. I don't think I need to contour my nose because it is from this view, you know, thin enough or narrow enough, you know, but I know some people have bigger, wider noses. They might want to contour it. Again, depending on your face shape, etc., etc., you might want to do that, but I'm not doing it. Of course, I could, you know, do the highlighter on the nose stuff. I'm not doing it, and so on. So lipstick, I could apply lipstick actually. I might have a look which ones I have here in front of me. Do I have one? Oh, that's a little bit dark, but I could apply it if I wanted to. Maybe I just take one of these. Yeah. So. Yeah, okay, that's one of these click ones. So Now this face wise it's done. Just take a little bit of MAC Fix Plus or any other setting spray that you have. And you might have noticed I have not applied mascara because, again, depending on your mascara, it can happen that the setting powder, setting spray also can actually, yeah, lose, make your mascara runny, and you don't want that. You don't want to have that. So I just then you do the last step, so to say, of my makeup routine at the end. And this is what, if you are wondering what I'm using right now, this is just a Dior Lash Primer. So and final step, mascara. Okay, so that's it. Actually, just a short maybe note to the brushes and brush sets, because I also made the mistake in the beginning when I was buying a lot of makeup stuff, etc., etc. Sometimes I bought brushes that are not suitable for my eye size. What do I mean with that? For example, some of the sets that I bought, they had too big of a brush. For example, let's see if I can find some. Now I'm just checking where I can do. Just give me a second. I'm just looking now. For example, I think I decluttered them or I put them somewhere else. But maybe here, this one. Oh yeah, this one as an example. So you see this one of the brushes, this is actually a Real Technique brush, but this yeah. And for example, it says here, what was this one? Deluxe Crease brush. This is for some people actually too big because they have maybe hooded eyes or their crease is very, very, hooded and inside the eye socket, so you cannot really apply it. And this one is of course really big in diameter. So again, if you run out to buy brush sets, always make sure that they are fitting your eye socket or your crease in that sense, because this is too big. If you have really, really tiny eyes, let's say like this, you might want to use this kind of, crease brush. This is Deluxe Crease. This is like from Jessup, from a makeup brand, which has similar brushes like Zoeva. And this would maybe fit more. Again, there are really tiny crease brushes on the market, so you don't want to go around and buy this one. And I know a lot of influencers recommend brushes, etc., etc., but not every brush fits your eye shape or eye size. So again, you don't need to. Sometimes it's better to go out, for example, and to buy smaller individual brushes and to make your own collection. So I'm just going to show you just as an example. These are all the brushes that I have used, or almost all. I have not used this one for my concealer, but let's take this one out. And also, where is I had here. You see also I don't have the eyebrow brush now, so, but you see, oh yeah, now this is a different one, but you see they are individual brushes, but I can just create this kind of makeup look with individual brushes as well. So you don't need to buy every Refer set that's on the market. I did that. If you want to see my Refer review, just go ahead. You might get upset with me. A lot of people get upset with me because they're on the Refer train, but who cares? Anyway, I might cut out this comment. So I hope you enjoyed this little get ready with me. I see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye bye.